Gathright. How are you?
Good.
Good. We can hear you. Can you hear us still?
Yes, I can.
I will call the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order at 7:30. The prayer will be offered by City Clerk Patricia Pietzu, and Alderman Dowd will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with the spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I ask the clerk to call the roll, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright is participating by telephone, and under the terms of state law that allows her to do that, she needs to explain why she can't attend, if she can hear us, and who she is with, if anyone.
I'm unable to be in Nashville at this time, and I'm alone. And what else? What else?
If you could
And I
hear
can
us.
hear you well.
Okay, and we can hear you as well. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Wilshire. Here. Alderman Gidge. Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Present.
Alderman Dowd.
Present.
Alderman Clee.
Present.
Alderman Laws.
Here.
Alderman Lopez. Alderman Karen.
Here.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Here.
Alderman Jettie.
Here.
Alderwoman Milizi Gola.
Present.
Alderman Tenza.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt. Alderman O'Brien.
Present.
Alderman McCarthy.
Present.
We have 13 members present.
Also present, Mayor James Donchis and Corporation Counsel Stephen Bolton. Does the mayor wish to address the board?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. First, the presentation which Alderman Tenza just gave us regarding the drug court and the other people who were here was really outstanding. It was very informative, and obviously the program is having a great success. I mentioned that 60% graduation rate is remarkably successful, and I think that that is true from what I've heard from people in the industry. For example, Justin Etling, who's kind of the founder of Revive Recovery, says that a lot of programs, if they do 5 or 10% success rate after that period of time, are doing well. And the drug court at a 60% graduation rate 2 years out is obviously an extremely effective program, and the presentation was really very helpful and impressive. I did want to mention to you the resolution that is on the board, on the desk, sponsored by Alderman McCarthy and I. The members who are also in the legislative delegation, I'm sure, are very familiar with this. But the resolution supports the 10-year highway plan as written, and leaving the $4 million to complete the planning for the Capitol Corridor Rail study in the plan. My understanding is that there is an effort to cut that free, totally federal, no state money, $4 million out of the plan, that there was possibly a committee vote to do that. And we would urge our legislative delegation to vote against any effort to remove that from the plan. We've talked about this many times, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but 35.1% of the gross state product is generated in Manchester and Nashua. Southern New Hampshire economy is growing much faster than the economy as a whole, and if the state wants that to continue, it would be extremely helpful if they would help us promote and expand the infrastructure here, which will enable us to assist them in growing the state's economy and providing communities where our next generation will want to live. So I hope you'll support that. I did want to mention to you something that's on the agenda for the first time tonight, which is R18008. This is a resolution which would amend the so-called merit plan, which is a part of the ordinances of the city. Briefly in background, this type of approach was first raised by then Alderman at Large Dean, who in April of 2016 advocated for and proposed legislation to amend the city's merit system. Because that's a somewhat of a complex subject, we thought that it would be most helpful to have his ordinance evaluated by the Personnel Appeals Board, which is a group of, a board of the city. But because that had not been active for some time, there were no members on the committee. So we appointed, I appointed and you confirmed 3 very competent, qualified people to serve on the Personnel Appeals Board. And they are Sheila Cabot, who's the Vice President of the Human Resource Consulting firm Snowden Associates. Second, Carol Baldwin, who's the Executive Director of the Adult Learning Center and has a background in human resources previous to the Adult Learning Center. And Michelle O'Malley, who's the Executive Director of the March of Dimes for New Hampshire. They met and evaluated the Dean ordinance and recommended that they do a comprehensive study. So you, the Board of Aldermen, indefinitely postponed the Dean ordinance and empowered our Personnel Appeals Board members to proceed to develop a proposal. That is what they've done over a period of time, and now you see that before you. They will come to the Personnel Committee, and I'm sure you'll be very impressed with their expertise and knowledge, but they'll be coming to the Personnel Committee, where I assume this is going to be referred, and discuss the details and the research and work that they did leading up to this ordinance. So I wanted to give you at least the background on that. Next, Mr. President, tomorrow or Thursday night, there's a special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to address the issue of the reassessment of the city. This is a very big subject. I hope you all can come. It will be an important undertaking. There's a state statute and even a constitutional provision requiring that the city do a reevaluation every 5 years, and our last one was in 2013. Residential values have gone up substantially, on average 25% or more, raising the values of residential single-family homes from like a total of around $5 billion in the city to more like $6.25, maybe $6.5 billion. We want to be very careful in proceeding here because we want to try to make sure that, and I'll give you more details on Thursday, but we want to make sure that we capture all commercial values so that we can bring those up as much, or try to bring them up as much as residential. We can get into the details on that. And we're going to recommend that we hire KRT, a consulting firm, to make sure that this is done correctly and that we incorporate especially as much in the commercial area as we possibly can. So you'll be hearing much more about that on Thursday, and KRT will be present. That really is all I have, Mr. President. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any responses to the remarks of the mayor? Recognition period.
There is none.
Reading of the minutes of previous meetings. If there are no objections, the minutes of the Board of Aldermen meetings of February 13th, 2018 and February 20th, 2018 will be accepted, placed on file, and the readings will be suspended. Communications requiring procedural actions and written reports from liaisons.
Communication from Arthur L. Barrett, Jr., Chairman, the National Board of Library Trustees, relative to request to meet in joint convention with the National Board of Library Trustees.
If there are no objections, the communication will be accepted and placed on file, and the Board of Aldermen will meet in joint convention with the Nashua Board of Library Trustees on Tuesday, March 13th, 2018, at 7:30 PM in the Aldermanic Chamber.
Communication from Len Fournier, Superintendent, Woodlawn/Pinewood Cemeteries, relative to the request to meet in joint convention with the Woodlawn Pinewood Cemeteries Board of Trustees.
If there are no objections, the communication will be accepted and placed on file, and the Board of Aldermen will meet in joint convention with the Woodlawn Pine Lawn Cemeteries Board of Trustees on Tuesday, March 13th, 2018, at 7:30 PM in the Aldermanic Chamber.
Communication from Jeffrey L. Snow, Superintendent, Edgewood Cemetery, relative to request to meet in joint convention with Edgewood Cemetery Board of Trustees.
If there are no objections, the communication will be accepted, placed on file, and the Board of Aldermen will meet in joint convention with the Edgewood Cemetery Board of Trustees on Tuesday, March 13th, 2018, at 7:30 PM in the Aldermanic Chamber.
Communication from Christopher J. Alwarden, Senior Counsel at Eversource Energy, relative to an application for abatement of taxes.
If there are no objections, the communication will be accepted, placed on file, and referred to the Board of Assessors. Period for public comment relative to items expected to be acted upon this evening. No one has signed up. Communications requiring final approval.
Communication from Mayor Jim Donsers, relative to purchase of 6 CNG solid waste collection vehicles.
Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to McNeilus Truck and Manufacturing, Inc. in the amount of $2 million, $1,555.
Motion is to accept, place on file, and award the contract to McNeilus Truck and Manufacturing in the amount of $2,001,555. Is there any discussion of that motion? If not, would the clerk please call a roll?
Alderman Wilshire. Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd. Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Jettie. Alderwoman Lizzie Gola.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman McCarthy.
Yes,
We have 13 yeas.
and motion carries. Petitions,
There are none.
nominations, appointments, and elections.
There are none.
Reports of committees, if there are no objections, the report of the Finance Committee of February 21st, 2018 will be accepted and placed on file. If there are no objections, the report of the February 12th, 2018 Human Affairs Committee will be accepted and placed on file. If there are no objections, the report of the February 14th, 2018 Special Committee on Infrastructure will be accepted and placed on file. And if there are no objections, the minutes of the Special Joint PEDC Committee on Infrastructure meeting of February 14th, 2018 will be accepted and placed on file. Confirmation of the mayor's appointments,
There are none.
unfinished business resolutions.
Second reading of Resolution 18-003, authorizing the mayor and city treasurer to issue bonds not to exceed the amount of $2,575,000 for various improvements at the Solid Waste Department's Four Hills landfill and the purchase of 6 refuse trucks.
Alderman Dowd?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for final passage of R 18-003 by roll call.
Motion is for final passage of R 18-003 by roll call. Is there any discussion? If not, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Lizzie Gola.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman McCarthy.
Yes.
We have 13 yeas.
Motion carries and R 18-003 is adopted. Unfinished business ordinances.
Second reading of ordinance 18-001 prohibiting parking on both sides of the entire length of Front Street.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion for final passage of 018-001.
Motion is for final passage of 018-001. Discussion. Would the clerk please call the roll.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderman Clee. Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Karen. Alderwoman Kelly. Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Malizia Gola.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman McCarthy.
Yes.
We have 13 yeas.
Motion carries and ordinance 018-001 is adopted. New business resolutions?
First reading of Resolution 18-010, authorizing the city to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the city of Manchester, New Hampshire regarding a remote dispatch center.
Any additional sponsors? Alderwoman Wilshire, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Karen, Alderwoman Kelly, Alderwoman Mozeglia,
Harriet Gathright.
Kinza, and Alderman O'Brien, and Alderman Harriet Gathright. R1810 will be assigned to the Finance Committee.
First reading of Resolution 18-011, authorizing the conveyance of a discontinued portion of West Glenwood Street.
Additional sponsors? R1811 will be assigned to the Committee on Infrastructure.
First reading of Resolution 18-012, authorizing the City of Nashua to enter into contracts with Nashua Community College, Riviera University, Town of Hudson, Town of Merrimack, and the Plus Company for the transit services.
Additional sponsors, Alderwoman Wilshire, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Clee,
Harriet Gathright.
Alderman Laws, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright, Alderwoman Clemens, Alderwoman Kelly, Alderman Tenza, and Alderman O'Brien. And R1812 will be assigned to the Finance Committee.
First reading of Resolution 18-013, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $378,117 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation into transit grant activity, transit service expansion.
Additional sponsors, Alderwoman
Harriet
Wilshire,
Gathright.
Alderwoman Harriet Gathright, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Clee, Alderman Laws, Alderwoman Karen, Alderwoman Kelly, Alderwoman Schmidt, and Alderman O'Brien. And R18013 will be referred to the Human Affairs Committee.
First reading of Resolution 18-014, relative to the transfer of up to $50,000 from Department 194 contingency, account 70150 contingency, negotiations into various salaries and wages accounts.
Any other sponsors? R18014 will be assigned to the Budget Review Committee. Unless there are any objections, the rules will be so far suspended as to allow for the first reading of a resolution received after the agenda was prepared.
First reading of Resolution 18-015, supporting the Capital Corridor Study for commuter rail expansion from Nashua to Concord in New Hampshire's 10-year transportation improvement plan for 2019 to 2028.
Additional sponsors, Alderwoman Wilshire, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Clee, Alderman
Harriet Gathright.
Laws, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright, Alderwoman Karen, Alderwoman Kelly, Alderwoman Malizia, Alderman Tenza, Alderwoman Schmidt, Alderman O'Brien. Did I miss anybody? And if there are no objections, the rules will be so far suspended as to allow for a second reading of R18015.
Second reading of Resolution 18-015, supporting the Capital Corridor Study for commuter rail expansion from Nashua to Concord in New Hampshire's 10-year transportation improvement plan for 2019 to 2028.
Alderwoman Wilshire. A motion for final
Well,
passage.
yes, I'm going to move for final passage. Sorry. Resolution 1815.
Motion is for final passage of R18015. Is there any discussion? If not, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright. Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Karen. Alderwoman Kelly. Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Malizia Gola,
Yes.
Alderman Tenza,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman McCarthy.
Yes.
We have 13 yeas.
Motion carries and R 1815 is adopted. New business ordinances?
First reading of ordinance 18-008, revisions to the personnel chapter of the ordinances and the merit plan.
Any additional sponsors? Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Karen. 018-8 will be assigned to the Personnel and Administrative Affairs Committee. Period for general public comment. No one has signed up. Remarks by members of the board. Start over here. None. Committee announcements. Alderwoman Melissa Golia.
Yes, PEDC this Friday at 11 a.m. at the Court Street Theater Building for a tour. So it will be a meeting of the committee, but of course, any other aldermen are invited to join us. And then next Tuesday, March 6th, PEDC will be here in the chamber, and we will start with the public hearing on the proposed TIF district.
Alderwoman Karen.
Thank you. Personnel will meet here March 5th at 7 o'clock.
Any other committee announcements? Alderwoman Wilshire.
Thank you. This Friday at 1 o'clock, we have CDBG site visits.
Is there a motion? Alderwoman Wilshire.
To adjourn.
Motion is to adjourn. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd. Yes. Alderman Clee. Yes. Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Karen. Yes. Alderwoman Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Malizia Gola.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman McCarthy.
Yes.
They have 13.
Motion carries and we are adjourned at 7:51.